All right, let's see who's here. Hello, everyone. Just a just a minute here. All right, we've got two people, but don't know who they are. So might as well show yourselves. All right. Pratik Chorasia. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Says, sir, please tell how I get my attraction back for girls. You haven't lost your attraction. First of all, let me know your gender, age, where you're tuning in from, which country, and what age you are. Is it the first time you're here? And we have Penguin here. Hello, Miran. Hello, Penguin. Female 18 from India. Hello there. Says, does HOCD have to do something with arousal? I don't understand the question because um, it's not like a connection of any sort. It has a different reason for HOCD, and that's a malfunction of the brain. And whatever arousal you get, it's association that the brain makes between what you see and concept of sex. So when, let's say, you're a woman and you see a girl, and if she has some naked parts of her, you don't see her, you don't have an arousal towards her body. You have an arousal toward the concept of sex because she has a naked body, and you associate, your brain associate naked sex, because when you want to have sex, you got to be naked. So when you see yourself, when you have experienced yourself having sex when you're naked, you see another woman's naked body, you associate that with sex. And this association with sex may give you arousal. And that is not because you like that girl or you're interested in that girl in sexual way. There's so many videos that I have on that. If you go on my channel and type in attraction, and you will have, this is for my other friend. This is in regards to Pratik, which was supposed to tell me, so 18 from India. Okay, Pratik, if you go to my channel and search in the word attraction, you will have all kinds of videos. And Penguin, I'll get back to you in a second. Let me finish this with him. So you'll see array of videos, and one is like, in HOCD, is it possible to feel false attraction? Excuse me, without feeling the anxiety. The other title is Recovered from HOCD, but my attraction to woman, question mark, and says no problem with thoughts, you say, but problem with emotional feelings, false attraction. And then you have HOCD and concept of attraction to your girlfriend. HOCD sucks. Have you lost your attraction to girls? Which the other part of it is also, opposite of is also the video is related to. And then loss of attraction due to HOCD. I have OCD and HOCD and struggling with loss of attraction. These are all some of the titles, and you got a lot more. When you go through the titles, you will find you'll find what you're looking for, and there's enough information there for you to be informed about what it is that you want to have answered. Now, Penguin is female 18 and says HUC is arousal. Okay, so we do the same thing. We go to the channel and we do the search for the word arousal. And you will have one video says HOCD feelings, emotions, false attraction, unwanted arousal, and thoughts. So that's probably the one that you might want to take a look. Here, I put the link here for you. Penguin. It's a short one, but there are many other videos that when you go through them, it will help you to have an understanding of what is the brain association with the words and images and the naked body and all these suggestions that it makes, which reverse back to the concept of sex, and then you get certain emotion or feelings or arousal because of that connotation, not because you're interested in that same gender. And Stephen is here. He says, hi, Marin. Hello, Stephen. Stephen, male 42, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Liam is here. Liam from Canada, 23. Liam, where are you? I forget. Which province are you at? Stephen says, getting ready to walk my dogs. Ooh, that late, huh? Again tonight. It's beginning to get cold. Yeah, it is cold in here, pretty much over here, but I'm sure not as chilly as where you are. Oh, yeah, you're right. I actually shivered a couple of times when I was coming out of the gym, just get into the car and went to eat something, coming out of that, get into the car. It was cold. Of course, I don't wear too much clothes. I just had my jacket on and then this short sleeve thingy, the gym thingy, and that was it. So I guess, but it is cold. Let me see. Actually, let me tell you what's the degree here. It is 2 centigrades, 2 Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius. Okay. And so, Penguin says, I watched an anime that had 18 plus screen scenes, and a man was doing something to a woman, as you know what that meant. That means I got aroused as that man doing something to that woman. And then there was, I started thinking, am I aroused by that female body? What a question. That's your OCD questioning. Because obviously you were aroused because of the scene, because the concept of sex, because that guy was having sex with that woman and you are the woman. So your focus would be at the woman as much as you would be at the man. And you would be feeling how it feels while the guy is doing that to the woman. And then at the same time, you can be feeling what the girl is feeling, and that whole concept brings arousal. But because you had the opportunity to feel, which is naturally you when you're watching something, you can feel how the girl is feeling as well as how the guy and what he's doing or feeling. This is what the brain, sees, and then as a result of the whole experience or the whole images or the whole activity, the concept of sex, which puts you in a position of having sex with a man of your choice or having sex, feeling of sexuality at the moment, then you will just try to ask question, was it for the girl, was it for the guy, which is the OCD questioning. It's not a question that needs to be asked. It's just that you're trying to make sure, and this making sure causes you to ask all kind of questions that are unnecessary, and there is no answer to it because it's a concept of sex. Two people having sex, you can be turned on, and it doesn't mean you're turned on to that particular same gender. You're turned on to the whole thing that is happening because there is a guy who's doing whatever to the girl. So you need to stop asking questions because it really doesn't matter what questions you ask and if you can come up with an answer or not. What matters is that you run your life with vetoes and choices, meaning if some kind of an opportunity or some kind of a situation where some woman suggests something to you, you know what you're going to say. You're going to say whatever it is that you want to say. Obviously, you don't like it, so you say, no, I'm not interested. And that's choice. And then veto is when you veto the invitation of that woman for any sexual activity. So that is what matters. Your vetoes and choices. That's how you run your life. Not by thoughts or images that shows up in your head, questions that shows up in your head to bring assurance for yourself. That's never ending story. And you should stay away from that and not try to come up with conclusions every time that there's a question popped up by your brain in your head, trying to make sure that this is in line with your values or not and judge yourself. It's all nonsense and unnecessary. So you need to just relax and you live by your choices and veto what your preference and inclination is, and you make a decision on what path you want to take. And that's all there is to it. The rest of it doesn't matter what thought comes to your head. And all right, there you go. So you got your answer with the way you have done it here. It says, she says, I know all these, even thinking about same gender body or something like that, it's disgusting to me. Well, that's how your inclination and that's how your programming is, and therefore the rest of the things that you ask question about to want to get assurances as irrelevant and waste of your life, because you don't need to answer the brain when you already, your awareness knows what you prefer, what you don't prefer, and you live by your choices and vetoes. So what the brain says or suggests or wants to ask you, wants you to ask somebody else, all that, just don't pay attention to it. Waste of your life. And Penguin says, well, sir, how to stop repetitive behavior of OCD, HOCD? This really bothers me, and it tells me to search about something, this and that. Yeah, I understand that. That's because you're seeking assurances. Having HOCD or not having HOCD or passing by or managing the HOCD has nothing to do with you. What was I going to say? I forgot. It's really it's me. Has nothing to do with you trying to search and come to a conclusion. This is why you search, because you want to come to a conclusion, to get assurance, and for that reason, you want to search and see if this is already understood or written somewhere. So based on that, you can make a decision about yourself. All bogus, all bullshit. Because all you need to know is that your awareness, your preference, and what decision you make at a certain given circumstance. That's all. The rest of it, how many times the brain has this image or that image or this question or that suggestion, doesn't matter. Suggestions, let them come and go. You don't have to prove the suggestion wrong. You don't have to prove the brain that this suggestion was wrong. You don't have to come up with assurances that you are not like what the suggestion suggested. None of that is necessary. All it is that you know, your awareness knows what you prefer, and you live by your vetoes and choices. The rest, ignore. And Penguin says, like, for example, since I was 7, I have this OCD, like doing everything neat and clean, like I have to assemble my shoes. Yeah, just like me. I had that too, in right order until I feel satisfied. Yeah, exactly. And you got to push him here a little bit, push him, even on the table. These things, let's say, got to be in line, all three of them. Like, let's say, you just have things that has to be in line, or not like this, this is out, this is out, it has to be here, all in line, all that crazy. This, I had all kind of OCD, but this is all that perfectionism behavior that some of us have, and it expands itself into all kinds of things that is irrelevant, unnecessary. Even things on the table should be in a row, or the pebbles that you try to organize, or the beans maybe on the thing, you I just organize them all the same way. It's all just the way that our brain wants and thinks that if it's this way, it'll all be fine. If not, something bad could happen, or it's just not balanced. It's a little bit of a craziness that we all have. It's not craziness, but that's that's a need of having these. And these sort of people like us are very powerful in imagination, which is a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that you can invent things, come up with things that nobody else can. You can play chess like without even studying much, because your imagination, your ability to create things and pathways is very strong. And at the same time, it's a curse, because then you imagine certain things that you don't need to imagine, and that throws you off, and you think, oh, I imagined this, so because I imagined this, then it means I'm interested in this, that means I'm this, I'm that. It just messes you up. So just limit them. And maybe at one point, when your parents allow it and you have the means, you can register a appointment for us, and we'll discuss it one-on-one on Skype. Soon I will have a group session available, so people, instead of paying $100 per hour, they can pay, I don't know, something less than half, like $48 or something, or I don't know how much. I think that would be the price for like 10 of you all at the same time, and it'll be much longer than 1 hour. It will be few hours, and everybody gets to ask their questions. But that will work for many people who don't have that kind of money. Yet they will be able to be face to face with me. They can talk about their problems rather than keep typing. That would be on Zoom or something like that. I'll let you know when that program is in. And here it is. And she says, if I don't, something will bad happen to me. Yeah, exactly. I had these things, these feelings. So the fact that I've had this, and eventually I got tired of it, because it was really wasting my life. I had all kinds of shit. Cleaning things, washing my hands so many times, organizing things and making sure they're all in line, going over the same line when I wanted to write something few times until the paper actually sometimes cuts through it with the pen. Oh no, I got to do this to make it all perfect, because if I don't do it, it's not balanced. Something bad might, all kind of a craziness. And it's all about psychological security and perfectionism, and a little bit of a glitch that we want everything to be exactly as it should be, as if there's some kind of a rule for it. And many other things, such as making noises. I remember I used to go when I was traveling on the bus to school. I think I was grade 5 or grade 6 maybe, and I was making noises in my head. You had to come to a perfect note. It was crazy time. And all because if I don't do it, something bad will happen to my family or to myself, or I won't pass my exam, or this is a way. All because at that age or many age, and then it becomes our habit, regardless of what age we grow into, we think that we need some protection of some kind to be able to enjoy the life that we have, the comfort that we have, the parents that we have. And for that, we don't know how. So we create something fictional. We conjure up something that some kind of organization or something is watching, and I would have to do this to make sure all that crazy stuff. But it's all about needing that psychological security that we have no way of finding it or attaining it. So we come up with all these cockamamie ideas. And then eventually, before you know it, because in midbrain, basal ganglia, striatum, the three centers of goal finding center and reward finding center and habit center, they're all on top of each other. So you keep doing the compulsion for the obsession, you're stimulating the reward center, the dopamine. And every time you get dopamine, you feel good. So you keep doing the compulsion. And after a while, you're doing the compulsion, not because of the obsession, you're also doing it to get the dopamine because the dopamine is addictive. And after 1,000 times doing it, it also every time stimulating the habit center. So after 1,000 times doing it, pretty much, you're not really remembering you're doing the compulsion for obsession or you're doing it to get the dopamine. You're just doing it because it's become your habit and you have no idea why you're doing it even. So these are all hand in. That's why the sooner you understand this is just a waste of time and a bogus thing and cut it down, down, down. I had to do that. And it took me 2 years to revalue all my movements, so not to fuss about it. And I worked on myself till I finally were able to reduce them to, like, I don't know, 99% and maybe a little bit here and there, but harmless. I used to have to walk on the four corners of the tile when I was walking somewhere. It was kind of crazy. Not all the time, but sometimes. So all kind of crazy. So these are all crazy normal, and so don't be alarmed like if there's something wrong with you. And then that kind of a brain leaches into other kind of subsets of OCD. Harm OCD, responsibility OCD. You always want to check the door, check the oven before you leave. You just want to make sure nothing is on. So if the building burns down, it's your responsibility that you harmed other people. All these is there. And then, of course, could lead to HOCD, because that's the intrusive thoughts that doesn't understand any boundaries, goes to any kind of topics and subjects. And then that's the time that you start doubting yourself. But when you were washing your hands, there was nothing to doubt. You just say, okay, I'm going to wash my hands because it's dirty. That's crazy, but I'll do it anyhow. But this one has a connotation, HOCD and sexual orientation OCD, and that becomes a little bit cumbersome to handle, but it's the same shit. It's no big deal and nothing more into it. Just because there is a suggestion, there is a cognitively capable to understand a suggestion or an image or thoughts or whatever. So it's all the same as the other OCDs, only in the face, in the kind of OCD that doesn't have any physical ritual as a compulsion, and it's mental. That's why it's called pure O. Dr. Philipson coined that phrase, pure O. It's about the OCD that doesn't have a physical compulsion requirements, and it's mental. So we talked about this long enough, I guess. So we can now perhaps move on. And Penguin says, sir, you're stronger for having all these OCD and getting over it. I hope I can be like you too, sir. I just want to get rid of this HOCD and OCD. Look, you will get rid of him, but you shouldn't focus on getting rid of him. You should focus on understanding this disorder, that how it works and what is its habits. By understanding it, then you're not freaked out by it anymore. You'll recognize every time a suggestion or image or any kind of that sort of stuff shows up, say, there it is. That's OCD. That's not me. That's HOCD. That's not me. And you understand it. Once you understand it, then you can use the Dr. Schwartz 4-step and relabel, reframe, refocus, and the brain automatically after a while revalues it. So you recognize the suggestion to be OCD and you go through the 4 steps, which I will put the link to that video of Dr. Schwartz that I've created so you can easily follow it and use it and become expert at it and handle the HOCD. And that's all you need to do. HOCD or any kind of OCD could come and go. But every time that it comes doesn't mean you're a different person or some dangerous thing is happening. And every time that goes doesn't mean, oh, it'll never. It's like a cold. Sometimes you get the cold, you help it, you know how to manage, you get rid of it, and then it goes away maybe for a couple of years, and then you could get it or you could not get it. But the fact that you know what it is no longer bothers you because you see, okay, that's that thing. It's like, something itches, let's say your thighs or your hand. And at the beginning, oh, what is it? Is it cancer? Especially if you have OCD. And then you check it and you find out and you learn that, okay, it's just what it is, itches. Then every time it happens somewhere, you say, okay, it's itchy. That's it. And you itch it and that goes away. No more thoughts behind it. So you look at it as it is rather than perceiving it for something that is not because of your worries and anxieties. You just observe it. Okay, something's itchy. Okay, a thought showed up. Okay, a thought. That's it. I'm not interpreting a thought showed up because I am now changed in sexuality. I don't interpret that way. So therefore, you just observe. It showed up. Okay, there's a thought. It's a crazy thought. For me, it's crazy. For some other people, it's their choice. But let's say for me, it thought is unacceptable or it's unwanted. It's not in line with my values. You recognize that and you just move on. It's the brain, it's not you. You are not the brain. Brain is not you. So brain can make any thought it wants and it's irrelevant to you. You don't even know that it's going to make it, but it makes it. And because it's powerful, it makes your body react. When your body reacts to the power of the suggestion of the brain, then you take that reaction as an evidence that the thought was correct. That's nonsense. The body is reacting to the brain because brain is so powerful. But the reaction to the brain suggestion is not an evidence that the suggestion about you is correct. Be careful of all these games that the brain plays. Good for you, Penguin, talking to Jack that way. So let me go back where I jumped from one to another. Christopher Squillin says, like the video. Which video was that, dear? The new one that I just put up yesterday? And don't forget, guys, please do include your gender, age, and which country you're tuning in from. I'd appreciate it. Okay. So we have Steven says, part of me feels bad for throwing out her stuff. Still? Are you still at that? Okay, let's talk about it. Why do you feel bad? Because you're still hung up on her. Otherwise, if you would have come to conclusion that she was not a good girlfriend, she was not appreciative of you, she was not humble, she was fake, pushy, selfish, and what she did was totally out of line and immoral when she's in a relationship. And so when you come to look at the whole picture and you devaluate her from the level that she has as a girlfriend, then you no longer should feel bad that you threw that stuff out because she had the chance to come and pick it up. And she never did. And or maybe just the way that you guys broke up, it wouldn't be pleasurable for you to keep it around and it was harmful, so you threw it out. She could have taken it all with her when she had the chance, and you gave her a few more chances. She never did. So that's in them. So the reason that you feel bad, maybe a little bit of it, because you want to be a good person, you want to think that, oh, I had no fault, because you just want to give yourself certain kind of a credit, that to still be looked good in the eyes of her, because she's still important to you, which is the problem. Once you actually see her for who she is, what she is, then she wouldn't be important for you to you, and you wouldn't feel these feelings anymore. And then you said, but when I think about it, what you said, I'm sure I was right. There we go. So you're just getting assurance again? No, it's all fine. Listen, uh, stop trying to get credit from her just because she said some stuff that you want. As a person, you want to be on good side of everybody. That you're no, that's how you had to handle it, and that's how you did. Good for you, and no looking back. All right, who else is here? And Steven says, I'm learning to live and be happy without needing someone. There we go. That's my boy. I think it just takes a lot of time. It doesn't. It takes a lot of time to think that everything that you're having and you're doing by yourself is amazingly blessed, instead of thinking, I should have this and this and that to feel happy. Instead, you should be thinking, I'm happy because of the things that I have, not that I will be happy if I would have this and this and that and so forth. So start enjoying and give credit to your accomplishments, and enjoy the little things that you have, whatever it is. Walking your dog, seeing your parents, doing your job, I don't know, having a pizza, going out with your friends whenever you want. Just be in the moment, mindful of what it is that you're doing, rather than while you're doing something, thinking about something else somewhere else that would have created certain kind of a feeling in you. And that feeling overrides the feelings that you get from what it is that you're doing. So you're really never living in the moment. You're always living in the past. Like you're having a secondhand life, secondhand living. Why? Because let's say when you're looking at this cup of tea, let's say a cup, what a cup, you're not focusing on what kind of tea is here, how you're enjoying it, where you are. You're focusing out on a cup of tea that you saw last week. You were sitting in some cafe with some friends, and you were looking at something and having a cup of tea. So no longer you're here, you're there. Why? Because this cup of tea looks similar to that cup of tea. Or because that cup of tea had certain kind of feeling, that instead of you focusing on this moment of cup of tea, you're focusing on something else. So you're missing the present moment of life, and you're living in your memory. A memory is the past. Past is dead. So you're living in the death of the past. So you never really see life. You're always one step behind, perceiving about what had happened before, instead of focusing on what is happening in front of you and what is happening. And then 2 weeks from now, you would be maybe having another cup of tea somewhere, and you'll be thinking about this cup of tea here. So everything is one step behind, because you're not focusing at the moment where you are, what you're doing. You're focusing at the things you have done in the present moment. You're thinking about the things you've done. So you're always there when your body is here. Mind and body are separated. Mind is in the past, body is here. It's not coordinated. So tension, anxiety, all that comes in, and without you enjoying what is happening really at that moment. All right. And says, I think it just takes a lot of time, although I do hope I meet a really nice woman. Who doesn't? Who doesn't hope that? All right. FT Studio says 24 male. Sir, now recovering from HOCD on my bad time when HOCD get worse. I felt like feminine, but I didn't like that, and my attraction towards girls lessened. My masculinity is losing. Is it all H? Yeah, it is. What else could it be? It's HOCD. You just have to stop worrying about my masculinity is going. It's not going anywhere. It's just the confusion of these HOCD intrusive thoughts are like creating certain kind of a fog or um, unclear window when you're looking through it and you can see ships and ocean and trees and buildings, but now this fog and this unclearness because of some, I don't know, dirt in the on the window doesn't let you see through what's out there. So what's out there, the ocean and the trees and all, they're still there. You just have a not clean enough lens to look through it. They haven't changed. So your masculinity and your feelings and whatever you like that you're attracted to, the females, still there. But because of these intrusive thoughts and all these images and the confusion of behavior of the HOCD, the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, malfunction of caudate nucleus, trouble in the midbrain basal ganglia and the striatum, all these three centers interacting and the compulsion and because of the obsession and the reward center sending dopamine whenever you do the compulsion and it becomes your habit, you end up constantly being in that framework of the OCD behavior and HOCD suggestions and constantly dealing with that, which makes it to become a habit of thinking about these things rather than understanding it what it is and realizing that your masculinity hasn't gone anywhere. It's just not letting you focus on it because too much distraction of these suggestions are out there. So you need to understand how HOCD behaves and then manage that. And then these things haven't gone anywhere, they'll just be cleared up for you to see them clearly and enjoy them. Chinmei says, last night was horrible. I had a panic attack. It was the worst feeling. My entire body was trembling and I was restless, experiencing extreme levels of anxiety. It's a result of OCD overthinking. Yeah, well, stop thinking. We never had this problem 40,000 years ago when we didn't have this brain that could think and speak. When we were living animals for God knows how many million years before we got this brain developed to the way it is, we were running and hunting and sleeping and having sex and no confusion, no OCD. Why? Because OCD is a thought based disorder. And when there is no ability to think, there was no OCD, there was no HOCD, there was none of that. Somebody was either homosexual or was heterosexual. There was no thought based intrusive thoughts to confuse everybody that, they would doubt their own gender because of the thoughts, because we had no brain to make thoughts. We had no brain to have the ability to speak. So there was no intrusion of any kind. So it's all about the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, the intrusive thoughts, the images, and all the rest that we've talked about in many videos. Mm-hmm. Perhaps that's easier. Instead of me reading it, I put it up here so you guys know what I'm going to answer. That helps me without having to read this stuff. Says it was horrible. And that's how I battle it. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay, now you know how it happened. So now you can forget about it because you can understand how it developed into that anxiety about your girlfriend. Now you don't have to have anxiety when you meet another girl because you say, no, it's just a friend. I don't expect anything, and I will decide when she actually shows me that she's got a lot more than I expect, and then I will decide then. So go in there without any expectations. You get anxiety because you think I got to commit myself to her. I got to love her. But if you don't have any plans or desire or designs for that relationship, you just think, okay, it's another friend. Let the relationship show itself get to a point that you will be glad to see her and no anxiety by thinking that you have to be committed or you don't want to be committed and all that. David says, hello, sir. Hello, David. Don't forget about the protocol, age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Steven says, but overall, I feel good, Mehran. I stay busy working on my home improvements, my 2 cars, and going to the gym at night. I have a good job. My dogs and my parents and brother live down the street from me. Well, these are great. So great. Happy times. Believe me, guys, life is short. These times that you're wasting it like this, worried about HOCD, worried about a girlfriend, thinking about a breakup, there would be a time that you say, oh, they were not a problem. Just bullshit, waste of my time. I wasted my life. Rather than being simply intuitive, learn, educate myself, I started worrying about something that I didn't have to bring that question in my head. Just deal it for what it is, intrusive thoughts. And I'm now going to learn how to rewire my brain through neuroplasticity as the researchers have come up with ways like Dr. Schwartz and experts in the field that they have their own videos and lectures such as Dr. Phillipson, Dr. Jan Weiner. You got to learn these things to educate yourself and equip yourself to how to handle these things, how to understand it and deal with it, rather than being subjected to some fucking brain, an organ, and now you're just running around trying to please it and prove to it that no, it's not the way it is. I'm not this. I'm not. Well, let the asshole say whatever he wants to say. You just live your life based on your vetoes and choices. You don't have to prove to the brain, no, I'm not this, as you say. Huh. Yeah, okay. You think I'm gay? Okay, fine. I'm gay. Fuck off. That's it. You have to prove to the brain. All right. Jack says, what does Jack say? Jack doesn't say much because he didn't tell us gender, age, well, Jack, okay, man, and age, and where you're tuning in from. That I need to know. Okay, Jack, I'll come back to you. First, you let me know that. That's important for me to know. Nobody listens to me. What can I say? Dizzy PF. Dizzy PF. FPS. Says Mehran, my girlfriend and I were in a long distance relationship. Ouch. For 2.5 years. Oh God, 2.5 years. It never gets anywhere. Unless you're together, mind and body both should be present at the same place. And when she finally moved here, oh, okay, and got a new job, she ended our she ended us a relationship, but said she will come back to me later. Let her go. Male 25, Florida to what? Male 25, female 23. Yeah, let her go. If after 2.5 years she comes to you in the same city and then she breaks up because she got a job, that's not a girl that you can count on. She's going to be swayed and tempted by every little success that she's going to find. And she wants to just see what's out there, how many attention she can get, how many things she can do. So she simply liked you, loved you, were with you because she was not in a better situation than she is right now. And so to her, you look like a chance to whatever. I don't know what the exact reason was, but obviously the behavior is not in line with a girlfriend that you can actually rely on and count on. So she tells you that she comes back, tell her, don't hurry. Don't hurry. I'll be okay. Move on. Yeah, and you're 25. You've got no business trying to have a long term relationship with some girl, a long distance and all that. Just another one, get another one. No, none of these situations are like, your final decision for eternal relationship. It's okay. She doesn't want it. She can go. And Jack says, okay, I guess Jack still hasn't responded to us. Dizzy FPS says, she cried when she was breaking up and said she may be making the biggest mistake in her life. Yeah, they say that, but they still want to go and see what other guy pays attention to them. Maybe go to, I don't know, here and there, bars and drink and experience that. And just, it's her choice. It's her life. And you have your own decisions to make. She has her own decisions to make. And that's her choice. And you got to respect that. And you got to respect yourself as well because you have choices to make too. So make a choice and move on. And if someone comes and breaks up with you and cries, okay, that's emotional and very nice. But then ultimately she's breaking up, which means doesn't matter who breaks up, which means it's not working between the two of you. So why would you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you or wants to break up, cry or not? Ultimately, she's breaking up. So let her go. And she says, I'm making a big mistake in my life, and I would not take her back after the life she has lived because she will do clubbing. And say, yeah, okay, let her go. Let her go enjoy her life, and you don't have to wait for her. You go and find somebody who's already done all that and wants to be at a different tangents of life. And you're 25, you're still too young to want to be settled with someone. So you got to find someone who's got compatibility with you, who's hitting on the same number of cylinders. And Penguin says, thank you, sir. Have a great day. Thank you very much, Penguin. Don't forget to promote the channel however you can. And Sachimuchi says, just want to say you're amazing, man. Thank you for all you do. You're quite welcome, dear. I appreciate it. Let me know your age and which country you're watching the videos. And don't forget, uh, promote the channel whenever a chance, any chance you get. That's what I'm trying to say. And Caleb Strongman. Okay. Okay. When I see there is no age, gender, and where you're tuning in from, I'll pass by, guys. I need to have that. I got to know how old you are, what your gender is, so I can address you properly, and a little where you're coming from. Like I can understand a little bit about the background, cultural background, when I have those three little things. And Ulrel, the same thing. You don't have it either, so I jump. Jack says 20 male England. All right, let's go back to Jack. Jack says, I was groomed when I was younger by a friend of mine when I was around 12, pressured into trying certain sexual things. Some things I didn't do because I knew it was wrong, but it went on for a while. Mm, he just told me it was a game, but I've just broken up with my girlfriend because I was getting these flashbacks and then think I've developed HOCD. It's just because you're so manly that now that you're grown up, you're not a child, you can look back and say, oh shit, that's not in line with my values. I'm pissed. And instead of just looking at it that way and say, I wasn't really clear about what the hell was going on. It was a game and I was a child. I didn't know. I wasn't in an age to understand enough to be able to tell the difference. Now I'm an adult and I can see it, but then I was a child. So no fault of yours. Go on with your life. And because you're so manly, man, you are overprotective, and you're not overprotective, you're protective of yourself, and you dislike that what happened. If you were not, you wouldn't even care. So now that you have already understood what it means, the fact that you're pissed off is because you are very heterosexual, very manly, and you want to protect that, and you're just reacting to that when you were not aware and experienced enough to know, old enough to know, and somebody took advantage of you by pretending whatever the shit they pretended. So now that you know, it's clear to you, then leave it behind, go and live your life. Because nothing is happening to you, and you're aware of it, and there's nothing you need to do. Move on with your life and enjoy your girlfriend and enjoy your life. That was past. You were not responsible. You were a child. That's the end of it. You can't be having this wisdom and this understanding when you're a child. Then you can never be a child. So you were a child, you didn't know, and now you know. So you can't be responsible for that. All right. Well, you shouldn't have let it go, but now that you've learned the fact that it's not of your responsibility, you can now get another girlfriend and then go on with your life, and it's now clear for you. You're not at fault. Ah, if she was really the type that she could, be relied on, she would stick around. So, yeah, okay. Well, if she was a real good partner for you, she would have stick around and actually help you together to deal with that. But that already says she wasn't the right girl, and that's how you had to find out. So you found out. Move on. Next girl. Doesn't matter. No, you'll have a better life now because now it's clear for you that you are not at fault. That's it. No, you're sure of yourself as well. You're just allowing the intrusive thoughts convince you of something. Don't allow don't allow intrusive thought convince you, just like that idiot when you were a child tried to convince you it's a game. Don't follow it. Then you were a kid, you didn't know. Now the brain is doing the same thing, trying to convince you of something that you're not interested. It's intrusive thought, and understand it for what it is, and don't be bothered by it more than the fact that it's annoying. That's all. Um, and at this age that you said, 20, you've got no business trying to stay with a girl for more than a couple of years. It's too young for you to know what kind of girl you want, too young for her to know what kind of man she wants. It's the time that you guys experience and get to know each other and have a relationship. You understand what woman is like and she understands what men are like. And then for a while it lasts. And but you grow out of it and you have more standards and more expectations from women. And then naturally this relationship would have ended anyhow. If not now, maybe a year from now. But that's it. It wouldn't have lasted because you're too young to be able to have enough values and enough know-how about what values you prefer in a woman to stay with each other. So now it happens sooner. Next. And Dizzy said, okay, we already did that. Oh, we already talked about that. Okay. Ulearn says, or you learn says, I'm recovering well now and I'm doing good since I educated myself about OCD and I did exposure intensively. All right, good for you. Says, but still I'm ruminating a little bit. So how can I erase it completely by continuously thinking? You don't need to erase anything. You just need to be aware to recognize when intrusive thoughts are taking your time. If you watch that link that I put for you, you will know the answer how to take care of that. And again, here is that video, 4 steps. And oops, 4 steps. So there are 4 parts, 3 parts of the Dr. Schwartz 4 steps, but then there is one that includes our 4 parts. So I'm going to put that one here. So here it is. That's a link for you to know how to rewire your brain, because the more you keep trying to get rid of it by thinking, the more you're actually programming your habit center to keep thinking about it. Whether it's something for good reason or not enough good reason, the fact that you keep engaging to think about it, that itself creates a habit for you to think about it. That's how neuroplasticity works. The more you do of something, the better you get at it. So you keep wanting to think about it to get rid of it. You are conditioning yourself to keep thinking about it. The whole idea is to recognize it and then relabel it, reframe it, refocus it. Once you recognize what it is, you switch to another activity of positive nature, like drinking tea, watching a game, or listening to music, and then the brain reevaluates it. And after a while, all these 3 steps or 4 steps takes place in your brain automatically, because you have made that to be the sequence of events when the intrusive thought shows up. And then you're on your way. Caleb Strongman, 29, male America. Thank you for that. Did I answer your question, Caleb, or did I not? Okay, let's go to Caleb then. Says, hello, I have suffered with OCD for years. Do you think it's possible to beat it without the help of medication? Yeah, I beat it. Absolutely. I'm thinking about trying a new medication, but not sure. I'm not a doctor, so I can't make a comment on that. You discuss that with your psychotherapist or your psychologist or your doctor. I don't want to comment on that because I'm not a medical doctor. I have no medical credentials. My research is independent. As much as I may know, I don't know anything about the medicines, and I don't want to discuss that. You got to talk to the experts about that. But I can tell you how I helped myself. I didn't use any medication. I was a kid, and through my life, I wasn't really aware that there was any medication or not. I wasn't even interested because I generally don't like to take medication if I don't have to. So this particular thing, cognitively, I was able to reason for myself and understand things and learn things, and then be able to relabel things without having known what Dr. Schwartz's research was, and experts like Dr. Philipson's lectures and Dr. Jan Weiner, their videos. I just did it myself without really knowing all this knowledge that is now available to everyone. Okay. 29 male America for that. Thank you for that. Julian Lidick says male 27 suffering from HOCD, but doing way better since I found your videos. Oh, delighted to hear that. Thank you for sharing that, Julian. Akua, it's funny. There's so many people here, but there's only 4 people watching. I don't understand how it works. Aqua Love and Space. Aqua Love and Space says, what does it mean if a man tells you, first you let me know, here it is, 43 years, Ghanaian living in Italy. Okay. Come stai? Says, what does it mean if a man tells you he respects you and doesn't want to take advantage of you? Well, it depends on what context. I don't know if it's in a sexual context or if it's in a friendship contest, a business context. I don't know what exactly it is. It just means that I can do something that is beneficial for me, but because I have respect for you, I'm not going to do something that is not appropriate to you or with you or about you, whether it's business, personal, sexual, I don't know. So that's pretty much what it means. Jack says, yeah, it has really pissed me off because I was madly in love with her, with this girl, in trying win her back. How do I deal with these stupid false urges? Ignore them because they're false urges. It's not your preference. You're not planning to figure out how I can go and have sex with another guy. So these are thoughts that shows up, and okay, it's not your thoughts, it's the brain's thoughts, intrusive thoughts. So just knowing that tells you that, okay, it's just annoyance. I'm just going to go after what my preference is, which is finding this girl or that girl or some other girl and have my relationship and pursue that. Now, in regards to you madly in love with her, look, at age 20, you bloody hell don't know what love is. I'm serious. I'm not being condescending or disrespectful to you, because love takes place in the consciousness level, and it's not the same as lust. But at our age, mostly even older age, we don't get it. We think the fact that we get a hard on for a girl, or we think she's sexy and we just want to be with her, that's love. That's lust. Love is when you actually spend time with each other, understand how unselfish you each are toward each other, how caring you are, how fulfilling it is to be together, how unselfish you are, as I mentioned that, and how much you try to be there for each other, how you support each other, how you are compatible on thought and value levels, and then how you treat each other over time. And then you develop certain kind of an emotion that is a deeper emotion than lust, and then you begin to see the love that you're looking for. Otherwise, this is no fucking love. A 20-year-old, you can be in love with a tree as long as the tree looks like a woman. I mean, that's not love, that's lust, right? So, but you like her, you try to get back, you get her back, go out, do your best. And when it didn't work out, don't give a shit. Just move on. Because if she's, look, every time that somebody, says that and leaves and says, I'm making a big mistake, but she still want to go fuck with other guys or go clubbing and all that, let her go. There's amazing women out there. It's not just one or two that you have to be hung up on. Didn't work out. 20 years old. What else do you want? Another girl, another until you're 30. And then you decide if you're ready to get serious with someone or not. And thank you. It means a lot. You're quite welcome. Chinmay says, thank you, Mary. You're welcome. Caleb says, thank you. You're welcome. And Aqua Love and Space says, bene, grazia. Due di hambre. And Aqua says, in a sexual context. Okay. So, does this mean that you are yourself have that inclination? Are you homosexual or heterosexual? Is he trying to hit on you while you're heterosexual and he's homosexual? Or are you both homosexual, or you both have this interest to, to engage in that? So then, is it a sexual context in both, from both sides? Or is it that he's gay and he's hitting on you and he's turning it as if it is taking advantage of you because you're not interested and you don't have that lifestyle? It is not clear to me, Aqua, so I'm not sure if I can be helpful by not understanding exact context. Simple Jack says, thank you, sharing your time, my pleasure. And so pretty much is the end of our discussion. There, Aqua says, I have a serious relationship mind. He is for something casual. He's a man. I'm a one. Oh, well, you should have said it to begin with, for heaven's sake. Because I don't know why I assume, because this is the problem when you guys don't tell me your gender. See, up here you said 43 years old, Ghanaian, living in Italy. I assumed that you were a man because that's why I need the information. Because all these discussions were unnecessary if I knew your gender and I knew that's a man. So there you go. So now that I know that you're a woman and he's a man and he's hitting on you, so he's kind of trying to maybe get your consent by being facetious, by being indirect. So he says that I have respect for you and I don't want to take advantage of you. That means because I have respect for you, either as a friend or a business partner or whatever the situation may be, he doesn't want to turn it into a sexual intimacy for once or twice, because that's probably what he's looking for. Just a fun or a kind of light interaction sexually and nothing committed. But you, on the other hand, have more of a different values and you want something serious before you want to go to bed with someone. Well, that's your preference and that should be respected by him and anybody else. So this is what he's trying to gauge it. I don't know, again, the rest of the conversation, so I can't make comment on it, but it seems to me he's trying to test the waters and see what you say, because he says, I have respect for you and I don't want to take advantage of you. And if you turn around and say, well, I appreciate that you have respect for me, but we still can try and see where it goes. Like he's trying to see, can he approach in that way or not? Are you okay with it or not? And you can, if you're not okay with that um, informal way of being together, you can say, well, I appreciate that. I'm just a woman that has commitment in mind, and for such relationships, it has to be of certain criteria and values and certain commitment levels. So it would make sense to me. That's what my way of um, entering a relationship is. And at this moment, there is nothing that can tell me that we are heading toward any serious relationship. Again, I don't know how far you guys are as far as talking it in this way, or he's being, it's just an innuendo he's using. So it's kind of difficult to answer your question properly. Aqua says, yes, that's what he's looking for, something casual. I have standards of being taken care of. And she says, oh, okay, I get you. Thank you so much. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. Yeah, he's trying to figure out if you'd be okay with some sexual intimacy and without any commitment and expectations, so on and so forth. And so you can directly turn around and say, um, thank you for understanding that I don't want to be taken advantage of. I have different expectations in a relationship, and I prefer it to be serious and committed relationship before I would be so close to someone that I might care for or get to know, something like that. All right. And Simple Jack says, can you explain love more? I think it's a sales term made up for profits. We really we should treat everyone like we take care of ourselves with intent for well-being and care. Yeah, it's not clear exactly what you want to say, but I think I can get you. Yeah, they create this love is everywhere type of thing. So anytime you feel something, hot for some girl, you think it's love, but in fact it's lust. And that's what we are. We men are visual. We see something pretty, we in our genes, we like to have sex more than women do. They're built differently. They're more into serious relationship, nesting, a organized framework of a family, and they would be able to be committed to one woman, one man. But we are geared and programmed to have to pursue, as soon as we see a woman who's pretty or aesthetically pleasing to us, we want to pursue because we think we got to pursue. Our programming, our genes have put together to have multiple partners in order to populate the world. I mean, that's how it began. Otherwise, if it was one man, one woman, and man just wanted to have one woman, it would never become what it has become. So that gene and program has stayed with us. This is why it's so difficult for men to stay loyal. And yet we have already been civilized and learned and taught that we have to be loyal in this day and age, and things, expectations are different, but still, that is very difficult. Now, women have turned into what men, way of living is, and they also use sex as something, as a fun thing. The loyalty is not there anymore. They just sleep with whoever they want, and that's where the world has gone. But mostly women are still, as much as possible, they're more loyal than men, because it takes more of an effort and risk to do what they want, and they're emotionally set, built differently. But we men are different, while we should adhere to the way that exclusivity is explained between a man and woman, because it just works better. You got to do your plays before you become committed to a woman, and once you choose each other and become committed in a committed relationship, then this should end. Because really, sex is not something that you say, if I have that girl and then the other one and then the other one, then I'm okay. No, you'll always want to have another one. So you got to make a decision. Either this with this one woman, after you've done your playing and all the games you played with the other girls and whatever, now you want to settle, you choose one, and you want to say, okay, I'll stay loyal to this and one woman. Or it is never going to be enough. You will always be played by your genes and genetic code that you want to pursue others. So you got to control that. Say, no, I choose not to go after my desires for pleasure, and I want to stay committed to this relationship, because this is now the one that I've been looking for, and I want to make something out of it. Now, with all that effort, if it still didn't work out after a few years, then okay, you guys separate and you go and try somebody else, another opportunity. But eventually you got to come to a conclusion that I want to be with one woman and make it work. And that's after a certain age has passed and you've done your plays and played the field and all that, and then you're ready for that. So, Aqua says, oh, okay, I get you. That's so, thank you so much. You're quite welcome. Says, you're so right. That's naturally normal with men. And yeah, that's right. And Jason Voorhees says, fight the power, brothers and sisters. Free mandate, free what? I don't understand what this is. This a political slogan? I don't know what that is, Jason. So, guys, this is the time that I should say, I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and promote the channel as best as you can. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. All right. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind-that-seeks-truth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.